What's up guys, Freezy here. In this video, I'm going to be doing a future character analysis for Blue Archive Global up to the current banner on JP server. This will be purely based on Total Assault and the Grand Battle mode, which is basically the same thing. Nearly all the future students from now on are made mainly for Torment difficulty, meaning most of them have very little to no impact on Insane or lower difficulty. Since Torment is a lot harder than Insane and require more students, some students, even if you pull them, you might not have all the required students to do Torment anyways, and they end up not being played. So I think it's only accurate to analyze future students with the Torment meta in mind. But if you don't want to hear all the meta analysis, I will have a summary at the end of the video, and you can use the timestamp to go right there. There's a lot to talk about, so let's start right away. So first, let's go over the most important banner for newer players and for those who don't want to do Torment. There are only 3 must-pull banners in the future. First one being New Year Kayoko. She will drop very soon for Global. Next one is Summer Hanako. She is a festival character, so it's a no-brainer. After that, if you don't have Sports Yuka, she's also a must-pull once the rerun hits. Since there are like 8+ banners and some reruns in between Kayoko and Hanako, you can save up for more than one guarantee in that time, so I recommend using the spare resource on Summer Shiroko. These 4 are the only super important students to have. All the other students are for Torment, which newer players can't really do anyways, and you can always get them in the next festival banner. Now if you are a more veteran player and want to challenge Torment, maybe now or in the future, this part is for you. Torment Boss varies a lot in terms of difficulty. For example, Torment Greg only has 262 players cleared on JP. Meanwhile, Torment Hot has 2,600. So I think analyzing each boss case by case will be more useful. Currently, I don't think it is really possible for a free-to-play or low spender to clear every Torment boss on first release. But with some planning and luck, it is definitely doable in the long run. For this part, I'm gonna assume you have Sports Yuka. If you started after Sports Yuka, challenging Torment is not really something you want to do anyways. And I ranked all the bosses in terms of difficulty and student requirements here. Here are all the unreleased students for Global up to the most recent Sports Yuka rerun on JP. I also marked every student with the boss they are good at and how important they are. For example, New Year Kayoko is a universal blue damage support. She sees plays in all blue raids, so she is a must-pull. Limited students are marked with red, and Summer Hanako is on the festival banner. You can pause and read if you want. I will have a more detailed summary at the end of the video. But for now, let's go over all the bosses and their meta on Torment so you get a better idea. Let's start with Field Bina. This is the next Torment boss for Global, and by far the most difficult boss on Torment difficulty. It has extremely high attack and defense, plus 23 million HP. On phase 3, it uses AoE attack every 30 seconds, which will insta-kill most students. So if you can't deal enough damage with the first 2 teams, it is actually impossible to kill the boss even if you throw in the entire student roster. All the core students listed here are very important, and all of them needs 5-star minimum. Some even needs fully maxed weapon, so it is a pretty expensive boss to challenge. Missing any core means you gotta throw in more teams worth of bodies just to make up the damage difference, so I would not recommend trying this one on release. Bina will get easier in the future, but it is still one of the most demanding boss in the game. After Bina, Global will most likely get Indoor Gods. For this one, Global will be a bit different because of New Year Kayoko. On JP server, we did not have New Year Kayoko for Gods, so it was very challenging. But since New Year Kayoko provides like 60% overall damage boost for blue damage, it means you can run other weaker damage dealers and still do enough to kill the boss. The main problem for Gods is that you need pinpoint accuracy for your relocation skills to dodge its attacks. So playing this fight on phone is kinda difficult. The core student requirement for this one is not too bad. Most veterans can do this one for sure. It just takes a lot of practice to learn how to dodge each attack properly. After Gods is Indoor Chesed. This one is pretty easy because we have Mika. Majority of the core students are farmable, like Junko, Tsurugi, Sumire, and Iori. Also because body throwing is very effective. As long as you have this Mika team raised, just getting to the boss means you pretty much won. This is the first easy Torment boss for free to play and low spenders. I highly recommend trying it out if you have all the cores. After Chesed is Urban Shirokuro. For veteran players, this boss is actually easier on Torment than Insane because phase 1 bomb on Torment are completely fixed. So no more resetting to bomb RNG. Maid Aris was released for this boss and she is not necessary at all. You can easily borrow her and still clear as long as you have New Year Kayoko. The ice cream strategy still works, and phase 2 has a few safe spots for you to get in damage for free. So phase 2 is pretty easy, just gotta clear phase 1 without spending too many core students, and you're good to go. After that, we got Field Kaiten. The main difference on Torment is that we need crowd control for phase 1, and phase 2 Kaiten Shield requires 15 hits to break, which makes normal Shiroko unplayable. So they introduced Bunny Toki as the new shield breaker for Torment, but turns out she's not necessary at all. Both Neru and Nagisa are way better at breaking shield while surviving. Bunny Toki only makes you get higher score, but to do so you need to do enough damage to break Kaiten's body parts to keep Bunny Toki alive in phase 2. So Bunny Toki is purely a min-maxing option, not worth pulling if you just want to clear Torment. Aru and Mutsuki are both farmable, so overall a very easy boss for veteran players. After Kaiten is Peroro on Field. This one is very top heavy because most of our damage comes from this Hinata team. So if you can borrow Hinata and have all the other members of this team, you most likely can clear Torment. But if you can't, it is kinda difficult. Body throwing is effective here since we can knock down the shiny chicken to do good chip damage. Most of this fight comes down to getting good critical hits from Hinata. This boss only has twice the HP compared to Insane, so it is not too bad. One thing to note is that Summer Hanako is actually a top damage dealer for this raid, so when Peroro shows up the second time, it got a lot easier. Next comes the easiest Torment boss, Torment Hod. On JP we have more than 2,000 players clearing Torment, and that is because this boss is hard countered by Mika. We also got the unique item from Suzumi, which made crowd control less of an issue. Nearly all the core students for this raid are farmable, so it is definitely the most free-to-play friendly boss we have currently. I recommend start raising Suzumi's bond level to level 25 if you haven't already. She is really good for this boss, especially on Torment. After the easiest comes the worst Torment boss, Indoor Gregorius. I just call him Greg. It is technically the easiest Torment boss we have because it is the only boss we can kill with one team. But the problem is that only a few selected students can even fight this boss. Most of them are new gacha students, and all the other students you have are completely ineffective on Torment because they get killed very fast. Oh, and this boss has 220 million HP, so don't even think about body throwing. Now if you look at future banners, besides Nagisa, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 students in a row that are made for Greg, and there's absolutely no replacements for them. So if you really want to do Torment Greg, you need to pull Mina and the 2 Summer SRT students. That's like the minimum requirement. The problem is Summer Hanako is shortly after, and Summer Shiroko right after is also extremely good. So it is a heavy investment. Thankfully for Insane difficulty, there are many free-to-play strategies available. Just pulling one of the Summer SRT students will make things a lot easier on Insane, and completely skipping everything Greg related is also okay. There is a strategy that doesn't use any new gacha students. Lastly, we got the Wakamo Hovercraft, another super easy boss. I actually think this one is even easier than Hod because there's almost no skill required for this boss. All you need is Mika and her supports. All the other core students are farmable. Note that Utaha, with her unique item upgrade, is extremely good for phase 2, and the new student Meru is not necessary at all. She just makes killing the boss faster. And that's it for this video. I have a brief summary for each banner and the pull advice here. Pause if you want to read them. I'm heading back to China soon, so hopefully I can do some more YouTube in China, but we'll see. Anyways, thanks for watching and have a nice day.